is da, right?
Welcome to Is the Right? Your go-to channel for in-depth knowledge about marine biology and aquatic ecosystems. Whether you're a professional in the field or simply an enthusiast, we've got you covered with expert-level questions that will test and sharpen your understanding. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on Facebook at Is the Right? For more educational content. Now, let's dive into the questions. Are you ready? Question number 1. Which type of organism is categorized under Neuston? A. Plankton. B. Nekton. C. Epinouston. D. Benthos. Answer: C. Epinouston. Explanation: A. Plankton are organisms that drift in the water column, not restricted to the surface film. B. Nekton are free-swimming organisms, such as fish, that can actively move against currents. C. Epinouston are part of the Neuston community, organisms that live on the water's surface film. D. Benthos refers to bottom-dwelling organisms, not surface dwellers. Tip: focus on terms like surface or film in the question to differentiate between Neuston and other categories. Question number 2. Which factor is least likely to influence the distribution of nekton? A. Temperature. B. Seasonal migration. C. Water movement. D. Substrate type. Answer: D. Substrate type. Explanation: A. Temperature is a key factor that affects the distribution of nekton, as many species are sensitive to thermal conditions. B. Seasonal migration is a common behavior for nekton. C. Water movement can affect the behavior and movement patterns of nekton, especially in strong currents. D. Substrate type is more relevant to benthos bottom dwellers than nekton, which swim freely in the water. Tip: think about whether the organisms are swimming or living on the substrate. If the question is about nekton, bottom-related factors are less relevant. Question number 3. What is the main adaptation that allows infraneuston to remain in their habitat? A. Hydrofuge surface. B. Streamlined bodies. C. Presence of fins. D. Flattened body shape. Answer: A. Hydrofuge surface. Explanation: A. Infraneuston have hydrofuge surfaces that repel water and allow them to use surface tension to stabilize their position under the water film. B. Streamlined bodies are characteristic of nekton for fast swimming. C. Fins are used for movement in nekton but are irrelevant to Neuston. D. Flattened body shape is more typical of benthos, which live on the bottom. Tip: the key here is surface tension. Words like hydrofuge relate to organisms in surface films like infraneuston. Question number 4. In which zone would you find water lilies? A. Zone of submerged hydrophytes. B. Zone of emergent hydrophytes. C. Zone of floating hydrophytes. D. Littoral zone. Answer. C. Zone of floating hydrophytes. Explanation. A. Submerged hydrophytes are plants completely underwater, like eelgrass. B. Emergent hydrophytes are rooted underwater but rise above the surface, like bulrushes. C. Floating hydrophytes have roots in the bottom, but their leaves float on the surface, as seen with water lilies. D. Littoral zone is a general term for shallow water regions and doesn't specify the type of plant. Tip. Focus on the term, floating. This directly points to floating leaf plants like water lilies. Question number 5. Which of the following is not a category of periphyton based on its substrate? A. Lithophile. B. Phytophile. C. Halophile. D. Lithariophile. Answer. D. Lithariophile. Explanation. A. Lithophiles attach to stones and other solid surfaces. B. Phytophiles attach to water plants. C. Halophiles attach to soft muddy substrates. D. Lithariophile live on stones in running water environments. This is specific to rivers, not general periphyton. Tip. Look for the presence of Rio, which indicates current or running water environments, differentiating it from still water terms. Question number 6. What role does macrophytes primarily play in aquatic ecosystems? A. Primary consumers. B. Producers of oxygen. C. Top predators. D. Decomposers. Answer. B. Producers of oxygen. Explanation. A. Primary consumers are organisms that eat plants, not the plants themselves. B. Macrophytes, being photosynthetic plants, produce oxygen in aquatic ecosystems. C. Macrophytes are not predators. This role is filled by animals like fish. D. Decomposers include bacteria and fungi, not macrophytes. Tip. Macrophytes are plants, and plants produce oxygen, in easy association. Question number 7. Which of the following is an autotrophic bacteria? A. Parasitic bacteria. B. Chemosynthetic bacteria. C. Saprophytic bacteria. D. Aerobic bacteria. Answer. B. Chemosynthetic bacteria. Explanation. A. Parasitic bacteria depend on living hosts and are heterotrophic. B. Chemosynthetic bacteria obtain energy from inorganic substances and are autotrophic. C. Saprophytic bacteria feed on dead organic matter, making them heterotrophic. D. Aerobic bacteria need oxygen but can be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Tip. Auto means self, so autotrophs create their own food. Look for terms like chemosynthetic or photosynthetic. Question number 8. Which bacteria thrive in environments lacking oxygen? A. Aerobic bacteria. B. Autotrophic bacteria. C. Anaerobic bacteria. D. Saprophytic bacteria. Answer. C. Anaerobic bacteria. Explanation. A. Aerobic bacteria require oxygen to survive. B. Autotrophic bacteria can be found in both oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor environments depending on their type. C. Anaerobic bacteria thrive without oxygen. D. Saprophytic bacteria decompose dead organic material but are not defined by their oxygen needs. Tip. In means without, so anaerobic bacteria live without oxygen. Question number 9. What does the Aufwachs community include? A. Free-floating organisms only. B. Organisms that penetrate submerged substrates. C. Both attached and free-living organisms. D. Benthos only. Answer. C. Both attached and free-living organisms. Explanation. A. Free-floating organisms are considered plankton, not Aufwachs. B. Aufwachs organisms are attached or move upon the substrate but do not penetrate it. C. Aufwachs include both attached organisms and free-living organisms on submerged substrates. D. Benthos are bottom dwellers, not necessarily part of the Aufwachs community. Tip. The key is recognizing that Aufwachs includes organisms that do not penetrate the substrate. Question number 10. Which macrophyte zone is closest to the shoreline? A. Zone of submerged hydrophytes. B. Zone of floating hydrophytes. C. Zone of emergent hydrophytes. D. Littoral zone. Answer. C. Zone of emergent hydrophytes. Explanation. A. Submerged hydrophytes are found deeper in the water. B. Floating hydrophytes are also further from the shore. C. Emergent hydrophytes are rooted in shallow water near the shore but rise above the water's surface. D. Littoral zone is a broader term for shallow water regions but does not specify the type of hydrophyte. Tip. Emergent hydrophytes are always the plants that straddle the land-water boundary, making them closest to the shore. Question number 11. Which macrophyte can be found floating unattached? A. Lemna. B. Water lily. C. Vallisneria. D. Serpis. Answer. A. Lemna. Explanation. A. Lemna, also known as duckweed, floats freely on the water surface. B. Water lilies have roots in the soil at the bottom of the water. C. Vallisneria is a submerged plant, not floating. D. Serpis is an emergent plant rooted in the substrate. Tip. Unattached is the keyword. Lemna is small and free-floating, unlike water lilies or other plants rooted to the bottom. Question number 12. What is the primary role of saprophytes in aquatic ecosystems? A. Nutrient mineralization. B. Photosynthesis. C. Providing shelter for nectin. D. Predator control. Answer. A. Nutrient mineralization. Explanation. A. Saprophytes decompose dead organic, mineralizing nutrients back into the ecosystem. B. Photosynthesis is done by autotrophs, not saprophytes. C. Shelter for nectin is provided by larger aquatic plants like macrophytes. D. Predator control is unrelated to saprophytes. Tip. The role of saprophytes is always related to decomposition and recycling of nutrients. Question number 13. Which term is used to describe organisms that attach themselves to sand in flowing water? A. Samophile. B. Samariophile. C. Lithophile. D. Lithoreophile. Answer. B. Samariophile. Explanation. A. Samophiles attach to sand in still water. B. Samariophiles are adapted to live on sand deposits in flowing water environments. C. Lithophiles attach to solid objects like stones in still waters. D. Lithoreophiles attach to hard substrates in running waters. Tip. Focus on the "rio" prefix, which indicates flowing water, and "samo," which refers to sand. Question number 14. Which of the following bacteria utilize sunlight but also require inorganic substances for building material? A. Photosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. B. Saprophytic bacteria. C. Chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. D. Anaerobic bacteria. Answer: A. Photosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. Explanation: A. These bacteria use sunlight for energy and inorganic materials for growth. B. Saprophytic bacteria feed on dead organic matter and don't perform photosynthesis. C. Chemosynthetic bacteria derive energy from inorganic chemical reactions, not sunlight. D. Anaerobic bacteria thrive without oxygen, unrelated to photosynthesis. Tip: photosynthesis is a key term, so any mention of sunlight points to photosynthetic bacteria. Question number 15. Which macrophyte zone is typically found at the greatest depth? A. Zone of submerged hydrophytes. B. Zone of floating hydrophytes. C. Zone of emergent hydrophytes. D. Zone of marginal plants. Answer: A. Zone of submerged hydrophytes. Explanation: A. Submerged hydrophytes grow completely underwater and are found in the deepest parts of plant zones. B. Floating hydrophytes grow in shallower areas. C. Emergent hydrophytes are near the shore. D. Marginal plants grow at the water's edge, not deep in the water. Tip: submerged is the key word indicating depth, as these plants grow entirely underwater. Question number 16. Which bacteria primarily gain energy through the oxidation of inorganic compounds without using sunlight? A. Photosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. B. Anaerobic bacteria. C. Chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. D. Saprophytic bacteria. Answer: C. Chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. Explanation: A. Photosynthetic bacteria rely on sunlight. B. Anaerobic bacteria survive without oxygen, but are not necessarily chemosynthetic. C. Chemosynthetic bacteria derive their energy from chemical reactions involving inorganic substances. D. Saprophytic bacteria break down organic matter, not inorganic compounds. Tip: the term chemosynthetic hints at chemical energy production, unlike photosynthesis. Question number 17. Which paraphyte and community member lives attached to stones in still water? A. Lithophile. B. Phytophile. C. Samophile. D. Halophile. Answer: A. Lithophile. Explanation: A. Lithophiles attach to stones and other solid objects in still water. B. Phytophiles live on aquatic plants. C. Samophiles live on sand deposits. D. Helophiles live on muddy substrates. Tip: litho means stone, so lithophiles always live attached to stones. Question number 18. What factor primarily affects the colonization of Alfwix? A. Water temperature. B. Substrate type. C. Water salinity. D. Water depth. Answer. B. Substrate type. Explanation. A. Temperature affects many organisms but is not the primary factor for Alfwix. B. Substrate type is critical for Alfwix colonization, as they attach to specific surfaces. C. Salinity impacts marine environments but is less significant for Alfwix in freshwater. D. Water depth affects the light and temperature but not the surface type Alfwix need. Tip. The key word is attached, pointing to substrate type is crucial for these organisms. Question number 19. What is a defining characteristic of benthic organisms? A. Ability to swim freely. B. Attachment to submerged surfaces. C. Living in the water column. D. Residing on the bottom. Answer. D. Residing on the bottom. Explanation. A. Free-swimming organisms are nekton, not benthos. B. Some benthic organisms attach to submerged surfaces, but not all. C. Benthic organisms do not live in the water column. They live on or in the bottom sediments. D. Benthos are always associated with the bottom of aquatic ecosystems. Tip. The term bottom dwelling is central to benthic organisms. Question number 20. What method is commonly used to manage macrophyte overgrowth in ponds? A. Lowering the water temperature. B. Introducing more fish. C. Mechanical removal. D. Adding nutrients to the water. Answer. C. Mechanical removal. Explanation. A. Temperature management is not an effective method to control macrophytes. B. Introducing more fish can help reduce macrophytes in some cases but is not the primary method. C. Mechanical removal is a standard practice for controlling macrophyte overgrowth. D. Adding nutrients will likely promote further macrophyte growth rather than control it. Tip. Focus on practical control methods. Mechanical removal is a straightforward and common solution. Thank you for participating in this challenging quiz. How did you do? Share your results in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Is the Right channel, and follow us on Facebook for more amazing content. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next episode.